Hey everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 3 easy vegan desserts that you can make in the microwave. A lot of you guys seem interested in this in my last microwave series video, so whether you live in a place where you don't have access to a kitchen or you're just looking for some single serving and satisfying dessert treats, this video is the video for you. As always, I will have all of the recipes in the description of this video, so be sure to check them out, but let's get straight into cooking. JK, I always forget that it's microwaving, not cooking. Okay, let's go.
First, we're going to be making a chocolate mug cake. And for this recipe, we're going to start out by adding some flour, cacao powder, baking powder, and salt into a bowl. Then we're just going to mix this together with a fork or a whisk until everything is well combined. Next, we're going to add our wet ingredients, which includes some liquid sweetener. I'm using agave syrup, but you can also use maple syrup. We're also going to add some applesauce, a tablespoon of nut butter of your choice. I'm using peanut butter here, so it's like a chocolate peanut butter mug cake. Then we're also going to add some plant-based milk and then carefully mix everything together again. And then this time it should form a nice chocolatey dough. And then everything is better with more chocolate, so we're going to add some chocolate chips and mix that into our batter. And then finally, we're ready to microwave. So if you don't grease your mug, I will say the cake is going to stick, so that is up to you. I sprayed mine with a little nonstick spray, and you're just going to pour the cake batter in. And here I'm just smoothing the top with a spatula so it's even once it comes out of the microwave. Then you're just going to microwave this for about 50 to 60 seconds. And then once it comes out, as you can see here, it will still be pretty hot, but on the inside you will have a nice fluffy cake with melty chocolate chips inside. And you can choose to enjoy this on its own because it is delicious on its own, but I decided to take things over the top and make it even more decadent by adding some vegan whipped cream. And there you have it. This is a perfect thing to satisfy your chocolate cravings. Up next, we're going to make a microwave cinnamon roll, and to be honest, I'm very excited for this recipe. This is the main reason why I wanted to make the video. So first, we're going to add some flour, baking powder, and salt into another small bowl and mix it together until everything is well incorporated. Then we're going to add in our wet ingredients. So again, we're going to add a tablespoon of nut butter, some applesauce, some more liquid sweetener, plant-based milk, and that's it. You just gotta mix it up again. And then I only started with around 4 tablespoons of flour, so as you can see, my dough is pretty runny. And so I just kept adding flour tablespoon by tablespoon and mixing it in until I had a nice dough. So in total, you're probably going to use between 6 and 7 tablespoons of flour. If you're using whole wheat flour versus white flour, you might use a little bit less. So just play around with it and see what works best for you. And then for our cinnamon roll filling, we're going to be using a little bit more liquid sweetener paired with some cinnamon and just half of a tablespoon of nut butter. You're just going to mix that up until it has a smooth texture to it. And then we are ready to assemble our cinnamon roll. So I'm assuming if you live in a dorm, you don't have a rolling pin. So I just wanted to show you guys that the dough is pretty easy just to flatten out on your own. You can also use some parchment paper and flatten it out. That way, that makes it pretty easy. You want it to be relatively thin, but I mean, it's not the end of the world if it's kind of thick. Then you're just going to spread the filling into your dough, and you might have a little bit left over, but that's okay. We're going to use it to top the cinnamon roll later. Then you're just going to carefully roll it up and then put it on the inside of a mug. And again, you might want to grease your mug just so the cinnamon roll doesn't stick to it. Here I'm using my fingers just to push it down a little, make it a little wider. And then I decided to add some of my leftover cinnamon roll filling on top as a sort of frosting. Then you're just going to microwave this for 30 to 40 seconds and it should come out looking like a bigger, fluffier cinnamon roll. So I took mine out and put it on a plate. If you wanted to top it with more frosting, you could, or just top it with more of that filling. But as you can see, it is a very moist pastry on the inside. Finally, we're going to be making a very simple apple crumble, and I really like this recipe because it's nice and fresh but still satisfies your sweet tooth. So you're going to need an apple. I'm using a Fuji apple here. Just keep in mind some apples are better for cooking than others. We're just going to dice our apple up into relatively small chunks. If you want big chunks, I guess you could go for that too, but you'll probably need to cook it for longer. Then we're going to add some coconut sugar and a mix of spices. Here I'm using cinnamon and nutmeg, but you can really use whatever you have on hand. Then we're also going to add the juice of 1 lemon wedge to help make things a little bit more tart and balance out the sweetness from the apple and sugar. Then we're just going to mix everything until all of the apple pieces are well coated in the sugar and the spices. And we're going to transfer this into our mug and microwave it for about 2 minutes. And then once it comes out of the microwave, the apples will naturally release some liquid. So you can choose to keep this in your mug or just drain it out like I'm doing here. Pro tip though, guys, this liquid tastes like apple cider, so I would just save it and drink it, to be honest. And then let's be honest here, nothing ever got crunchy from using a microwave. So we're going to make our crumble topping just by crumbling up some granola. If you do have access to an oven and you want to make your own, you can totally make your own, but here I'm just using some store-bought granola from the brand Purely Elizabeth. It's one of my favorites.
And that is it for this edition of my microwave series. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to see some more savory recipes, I will have that video linked right here and in the description if you want to check it out. I personally loved all these recipes and I would eat them for dessert any time of day, any day of the week. You can have dessert any time of day, right? Also, don't forget to tell me which recipe you like the most and the one that you want to try first. And if you have any more suggestions for another video microwaving series, definitely let me know in the comments below as well, and I would be more than happy to film it. If this is your first time at my channel and you like what you see here, don't forget to click that little button right down there if you want to see more easy recipes, always vegan of course, but always delicious too. And other than that, I think that is it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye!